Avengers Infinity War Part 1 and 2, which the Russo brothers have confirmed will be renamed at a later date before the movies come out, is the accumulation of all the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies at that time for Phase 3 and all the other two phases films. Like, it's all building up to this big epic finale, and it's going to feature a lot of Marvel characters. Now, I know the movie hasn't been released yet. I'm just making this thoughts video about the production of Infinity War, since filming is scheduled to begin later this year near the end. And the Russo brothers have been signed on to return to direct these two movies. And considering how well they did with Civil War, this is going to be a bigger challenge. And like, they got the writer for Civil War, and he said like this is a walk in a park. Like, compared to Civil War and Infinity War, Civil War was more like a walk in the park, whereas Infinity War is much much bigger, since you have all these different characters. You have Thanos, you have the Avengers, you have Doctor Strange, you have Black Panther, and then also have the possibility of Daredevil, of Agent Carter, if they somehow bring her back since she died in her sleep in Civil War. With time travel and whatnot. Then you have the Guardians of the Galaxy, and then you have possibly Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and then the Punisher and the Defenders arc they're gonna do. All this is like playing the big epic finale to the Avengers series. Like, it looked like at the time, for me at least, that this was gonna be the epic finale. Like, this would be the end of the tale. This would be the end of all things for for the whole storyline of this cinematic universe. Like, it was building up all the way up to this. Um, from what I've gathered, like, the plot is going to be revolving around Thanos now deciding at the end of Age of Ultron, saying, "Fine, I'll do it myself." Where he was going to collect the Infinity Stones by himself or with an army, and he's going to do this by himself now. And he has his army, and then Ronan turned on him, so now he's gonna, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it myself. And it's spectacular how this is all built up. Like, they took their time, they took their effort. This is the pinnacle of all comic book movies. It's a comic book fan's wet dream to see all your heroes from out the Marvel Cinematic Universe team up to fight in this epic encounter. Whereas DC, like, I liked Man of Steel. I'll get to that in another video before I make my Batman v Superman thoughts video. But it feels like they haven't earned the Justice League Part 1 and 2 films since they're happening so early in the cycle. And it doesn't look like there's a plan here, but I'll get to that in another video about the cinematic universe, since there's only been two films, and this is currently, from what I've gathered, about all the problems that's having. Like, you have all these, you have the Infinity Stones, you have the Tesseract, you have Loki's Scepter, you have the Reality Stone, the Power Stone, and then there's a glove that was designed to house the stones, known as the Infinity Gauntlet, is briefly seen in Thor, and then a second glove is found by Thanos at the end of Age of Ultron in the credits scene. Um, it's okay. They said, like, the Russo brothers had confirmed that there's going to be a lot of Marvel characters, and like we have you have Tony Stark coming back to play Tony Stark coming back from played by Robert Downey Jr. You have Bruce Banner coming back, and they also talked that there's a possibility that the characters from the Defender series, such as Daredevil, Punisher, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Jessica Jones, are going to show up in here. Jessica Jones is actress. Let me see. Her name is. Like, there's so many characters. Like, it's hard to keep track of who's who. Um, like, not only her, like Jessica Jones, like Ross, who's the Secretary of State, so that means the political side's going to be in it. Jessica Jones, actress, said that she would want to appear in this because she wants to be with the Titans, pretty much. And like, this shows like this is a big deal. Like, you have to like bring in the big guns for this production, and like they're going to change the names of the films. Like, it's like Part 1 and 2. They don't want to call it Part 1 and 2 since they feel like that's kind of cheap shot, I think. and they said they're two completely different films. They're tied in together, but they're completely different films. Yet they're all the same thing. They're Infinity War, and it's really exciting to see this film happen. Like, I've been like watching the cinematic universes films since the Avengers, and then I wanted to collect all the Marvel Cinematic Universe films, and I started seeing them, and I started liking them, as you know. Um, okay, but like, so you have all these characters, and now here's what I think part one is going to do. Part one is, this is also going to feature some predictions I have. Part two is going to do the Infinity War storyline with Thanos and whatnot, and the heroes of all the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and maybe the villains if they somehow bring them back, since a lot of them died. So like, that's also a factor. But my major the major plot points that they're going to do in Infinity War Part 1 is most likely going to be, they're going to have villains of the Earth team up to take out the Avengers, since the Avengers have stopped them time and time again, and they feel like the only way to combat them is to work together. So they're going to try and hunt down all the heroes, all the vigilantes, such as Daredevil, the Defenders, and then they're going to try and hunt down Nick Fury, since he also said he wants to be in this film. Samuel L. Jackson. And then along with that, you have like Doctor Strange. Like, you don't know how many villains he's gonna have. Like, and it was also revealed that Star-Lord, who was played by Chris Pratt in Guardians of the Galaxy, would appear in the Infinity War, which means that, the entire Guardians of the Galaxy is going to show up in this film, so that's awesome. Um, so like, moving on from that, uh, like, it's gonna feature the villains teaming up to take out the Avengers, and then you get to have, then most likely Star Lord is gonna come back to Earth to do something, and then help out his planet, and then he informs the Avengers that there's gonna be a huge war coming, something big's gonna happen soon. Thanos is on the move, and Thanos arrives on Earth, and then he fights the Vision, since the Vision is powered by one of the stones. I think it was Loki's scepter. I can't recall which stone it was, but I know it's not the Power Stone. I know it's not the Tesseract. That's somewhere else. Like, the Tesseract is on Asgard, and the Power Stone is with the Guardians of the Galaxy. So I think Thanos is gonna, like, on the side, like, they're gonna do side plots from time to time, like they did with Civil War with Zemo, where he goes ahead and collects the Infinity Stones, and then finally the accumulation is that he's gonna fight. Vision to a death match, and like, I was talking to one of the coworkers at my job, that he said that, well, we don't know if Ultron's really dead. Like, we didn't see that ending, though I think he is dead in my opinion, but we won't know till later on. Like, Vision never really confirmed he killed the last Ultron, so there's a chance Ultron could still be around and could work for Thanos by force, most likely, since he has the stones and he can manipulate it, since the Infinity Stones are pretty much god powers at this point. Um, Scarlet Witch is also scheduled to appear in here, so I believe Vision is most likely going to die in part one. He's going to get and I'm pretty sure they should go with the brutal display of Thanos ripping the Infinity Stone out of him, and Vision dies in Scarlet Witch's arms, since it was in the story they were a couple, but but there's also a chance that they could do this in the storyline in the movies, and they kind of gave hints to that in Civil War a bit, so we don't know, but it's gonna be like this epic movie that is just so awesome. And I know for a fact Bucky Barnes is gonna be back. Like, he's currently frozen, and there's a chance he might show up in Black Panther, but at the same time he could not appear in that, and then appear in a post-credit scene, and then come back to do to play as the Winter Soldier again in to be the Winter Soldier again in Infinity War, since, well, they need all the help they can get, and there's still a lot of issues left to be resolved, and the Avengers are broken up, so Like, and also the producer and president of Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige, who is the leader of this project, of this single big project, noted that Doctor Strange and Thor Ragnarok is going to lay some groundwork for Infinity War, while Black Panther is going to feature a very important link to the films. So you got that. Then there's also Spider-Man and possibly Venom, the Green Goblin, all these other villains from the Spider-Man universe probably showing up on here. Then you have Black Widow coming back. Like all these characters are gonna come back. And William Hurt says he wants to play as Ross again, the Secretary of State now, no longer General Ross. He might try and become the Red Hulk since that's what he became in the comics, so we don't know about that. But this is where my concerns are. Like, they have so many all these characters from, and there's also conflicting problems with the TV shows and the movies since they are part of the same universe, but the television series are controlled by Marvel Television with a separate oversight, whereas Kevin controls all the Marvel films. So it's going to be hard to do that, and it would be very complicated for them. But I think they can do it, and it would be awesome to see the Defenders team up with the Avengers and team up with the Guardians of the Galaxy to fight in this epic war, because their lives are at stake too, so they have a right to fight this war. So, and this is where my major concern is. After Infinity War Part 1 and 2, there's going to be a singular movie called Inhumans, which I thought was like, really? Like, don't you think you should stop at Infinity War? Like, that's the end. That's the end of the tale. Like, Thanos is defeated in Part 2, most likely. So, why are you going to do this? And then I found out they have a Phase 4 planned. And then that's where my concern is. Like, how do you like, okay, I'm not going to judge the event films to the singular solo films, but all the films prior to Infinity War Part 1 and 2, they were all building up Infinity War. All of them were all building up to Infinity War. The Tesseract, the Infinity Stones, all of them. And now, like, you're gonna do a phase 4 of this series, and this is my concern. What if they start to milk things and then afterwards the decline begins? Like I know the comic book movie fad is going to eventually fade out for a bit, but this might be the decline, breaks the camel's back, because how do you top the Infinity War storyline with like, it's hard to make another Thanos. Like, I can't recall, like, if they have the X-Men in the cinematic universe, then you can make Apocalypse, but compare that to the fate of the entire galaxy, to, or the universe pretty much, to the fate of Earth. The universe kind of wins. Not really, kind of, definitely wins. And this would be like very concerning for me, because it would be like, this is like, if I was in charge, like, I would most likely be hearing complaints from people saying, hey, dude, like, do this, do this, do this, like, continue making more Marvel Cinematic Universe films. I would keep saying, no, I feel like we should stop after Infinity War, because we should tie in all the plots up, build up everything up. Like, this is where it all should end at. And that's how I feel how the Infinity War storyline should end. Like, it should be the big epic finale. And to hear that they're going to make more films after Phase 3, I feel like, yeah, this is room for concern. Like, I have confidence in Marvel, they can do something, but really it's hard to top Infinity War out with another big event film. Like, if they downplay it and try to go back to Earth, people are going to complain that, well, you had the entire universe on the line, so why are we focusing on Earth? There's not really much like, the tension's still there, but there's not going to be much tension compared to the fate of the entire fucking universe. And and I know what I'm about to say is going to be spoilers, but they confirmed Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is going to be in Phase 4. So that takes away the tension there for the Guardians of the Galaxy, because they're obviously going to survive. And then there's then there's Tony Stark saying, then there's Robert Downey Jr. saying, "Oh, I'd be interested in doing one more Iron Man film." So that takes away the tension there. They want to make a Black Widow film, and it's already too late to do it for Phase 3. So she's gonna most likely live. The only characters that are currently like, okay, I get you saw at Age of Ultron the Vision showing, not the character Vision, but they show a vision to Robert Downey Jr. to Tony Stark of all his friends dying. Like that could have just been a possible reality, another reality where Thanos won. But this is like warning that that this reality could come true if you don't do something about it. So that's my big concern with, and my other second major concern is, whereas I know they tried their damnedest to tie in all these the characters for part for Civil War, and it was pretty hard for them to do. Like I felt like they did a great job compared to Batman v Superman, for what I heard, but they managed to weave in and out the heroes. They didn't make it look crowded. Didn't make it look cluttered with so many characters on screen. Like they managed to tie it in. They managed to keep it singular. They managed to keep everything in a straight line with unexpected twists and turns. So I'm holding out hope that maybe they can do well with Phase 4. But my concern is that this is where everything starts to go on the decline, since Infinity War is the accumulation of all things Marvel for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So those are my concerns, especially with the action scenes. They're going to be fucking awesome. They're going to be freaking awesome. Uh, and so those are my thoughts on the productions of Infinity War. Those are my concerns, my hopes, my praises. Oh, and I just remembered Loki's going to appear in this as well, so he's going to survive Thor Ragnarok. So I can't wait what Loki's going to do. Is he going to team up with Thor and the others, or is he going to strike out on his own and go to war with Thanos by himself? Well, everyone, those are my thoughts on the production of Infinity War, Part 1 and 2. They're most likely going to get their names changed before the film comes out. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. Stay tuned for more.